guys, it's Jenny. Welcome back to the Crafting Bookworm. Today we are going to make a simple bookmark. Okay, welcome back guys. Welcome new subscribers. Thank you all for your continued support. Most of you know I am an avid reader and I love bookmarks, and it just seems like bookmarks are so super expensive to buy. I would just rather make them. And I've got two examples here of what I've made using eyelash trim as my topper. This one's got some glitter on it. It's still trying to dry, but that one's got some glitter on it. We got a charm hanging on here. You can do whatever you want. We're going to today just make a basic bookmark. Okay, so we're going to set these aside. And all you're going to need is just a scrap piece of cardstock like this. If you don't have a scrap of cardstock, then go and grab yourself a new piece. This is a 110-pound cardstock right here. Also, for your paper, I like Temu, their paper. They've got all different types of papers. And they're like $3. Last time I saw, they were like $3.48 for each one. So I went through there earlier and I picked out this one. I just really like the vibrant color right here. I think it's really pretty. So you don't have to use the Temu prints. You can get regular scrapbook paper as long as it's not heavy. You don't want an overly thick bookmark. Every time I make a journal, I'm sticking bookmarks in the journals, and I don't want them to be bulky as they slide into pockets and what have you. So you want something that's not super thick, and you don't want your paper to be, this is pretty thin, so you don't want it to be real thick. Now these prints are 5.5 by 4. So if you just have scrapbook paper and you want to cut it down to that size, then you can. I just think this is a great size for a bookmark. Okay, so what you're going to do first is you're going to take your paper and you're going to fold it in half lengthwise. Okay, and then you want to crease that. So we're going to crease it. Now if you can see this, you can see that's going to be a really pretty bookmark. You're going to have a print on both sides. I like my bookmarks to have something on both sides. I don't like a beautiful front and then it's just a white back. I don't like that. So when I make them, I want a print on both sides. So what you're going to do is after you fold this lengthwise, you're going to take your piece of cardstock. Okay, it can be bigger than this because we're going to trim it up. You're going to take your cardstock. I got eyelash trim everywhere. And you're going to slide it into the fold of the paper that you just folded lengthwise. Okay, you can put it anywhere on the paper. There's no rules on that because you're going to trim them up anyway. I like to get fairly close to the bottom of my cardstock, if not all the way to the bottom, but just don't let it overhang your cardstock. Okay, so once you get it in there, you're going to take this flap and open it, and you are going to hold this in place because you don't want it to shift. All right. The glue I'm going to use is Fabri-Tac. Now you can use whatever glue you want, but this is really the best for making these. Glue stick is great, but I want it to know that it's going to hold for as long as I'm using that bookmark, and sometimes glue stick over time starts to unstick. So I like Fabri-Tac because it doesn't leave any glue lines and it squishes when you squish it out. So, or when you like use your scraper on your image or whatever you're decorating, and it kind of squishes the glue around where it's supposed to go. So this is really my choice for doing this. Okay, so let's make sure this is clear first, because sometimes a layer gets on there and your glue doesn't come out. Alright, so we're going to make sure that it's flush against the edge of your cardstock. Okay, you don't want any overhang. You want it flush against your cardstock. Now we're going to open this up, and you're going to hold that secure. Now you don't have to get super close to the edge because, like I said, it squishes easy. And we're just going to go and get all these sides. Okay, we're going to go here, And you're going to get right up against your cardstock. And then down the other side. And then we're just going to go in the middle. And we're just going to put the glue in there. Okay, just like that. Now we're going to make sure it stays flush against your cardstock, and we're going to let it just fall down and glue. Just like that. Okay? Now you can flip it over. You don't got to hold it down anymore because you got it pretty secure in there. We're going to do the same thing on this side. And we're going to get the center. Just like that. And you're going to do the same thing. You're going to make sure it's flush against your cardstock. You can usually push on the edge of your cardstock and you'll make sure that it's where it's supposed to go. Okay, and you're just going to make sure that gets glued down. We're going to take our scraper and we're going to scrape. We're going to make sure that glue gets dispersed. We're even going to flip it over. We're going to do it this side, just like that. Okay, and so now we're going to trim it. Now you can take scissors, you can take a paper trimmer and do it. I use my paper trimmer because my cutting with scissors is just, it's not great at all. Okay, so mine is all trimmed now. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to get a corner rounder. I like the finished look on my bookmark, so we're going to round all the corners. Just like that. Let's get those out of there. Okay, so now we have something like this that's taken shape. It's looking a little bit more like a bookmark. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to ink my edges, because you want to get rid of like this white edge along here, because you're going to have one side printed and then these white edges. And we don't want the white edges on there. So I am using ground espresso. That's one of my new favorites. Okay. We're going to ink all the edges. You can even ink the edge where the paper is wrapped. And it's also a good time to make sure that you got a good seal on there. If you don't, then you can just run some more glue in there. And we're going to get the side that where the paper wrapped, because we want it to look even. We're going to turn it the other side and do the same thing. I like the look of inking, so that's why I ink. I mean, you don't have to. If those white edges don't bother you, then feel free to just leave it as it is. It is your bookmark. Okay. There we go. We got it inked. Now we got to put a topper or something on there. So we got to get an eyelet and a grommet in there so that it looks more like a bookmark. Now you don't have to do this. You can just have a fabric topper. If you want a fabric topper just to hang on the top, you can do that as well. You can do it however you want, but we're going to use the crocodile. You can also use a regular paper punch, but just let me tell you that these two take totally different size grommets. Okay, this paper punch punches a lot bigger than this, but this hole is too big for the grommets that go with this. I do have regular grommets that I use with this, and I have a separate tool for that, but it's just easier with this. So now what we're going to do is make sure you have the right end that you're going to punch. So we're going to eyeball it. You don't want it too far down, but you don't want it too close either. And then you want to make sure you're going to get as close to center as possible. So that looks pretty good to my eye. Okay, so we got a hole punched. And now you get your grommet. You can choose whatever grommet you want. I'm going to look at my colors first and see if any of these colored ones would look okay. Ooh, that one does look pretty good. I thought it was going to be off. I think I'm going to go with the red one. Grab your grommet and your washer, you guys. They're really important. I didn't used to use the washers when I did this, but it really gives the grommet something to cling to. Okay, so something else I also discovered is that this is 3/16. These are 3/16. This punch is 3/16, but for some reason, the hole is still not wide enough to fit these grommets, and I don't understand. I even got new grommets and it's the same thing. So what you can do to fix that is just take a pencil and stick it in your hole and push it through just a little bit, and then just turn it back out, and that should push enough of it inward to get your grommet in, so you're not making a mess of your paper. Okay, it's going to be a tight fit, but it does help using the pencil method. Okay, we're going to take our washer and put that on, and now we're going to crimp it with the crocodile. You don't have to crimp super hard. You can feel the give when it's done. And there you go. Now our grommet is in. Okay. So now we need to find a topper for this. Let me see what I've got here in my jar of trims. I got this jar. It's just all these little trims and stuff in here. And sometimes I get fortunate enough and I find something that'll work. Well, I've got the sari silk, but that's really kind of wide and I don't want to cut it. I've got this one. Ooh, that kind of matches really good. I think I'm gonna go with that one. Okay. Last time I used the eyelash trim, but because I love eyelash trim, they do add a certain flair to your bookmark. But this time I am going to just use this. This is a crepe ribbon, or no, this is the seam binding, and it's a little crinkly. If you guys just moisten it, you can get a lot of the crinkles out. That's the only way. When I first bought it, that's all they had. Okay, so now we're going to decide how big, you know, or how much we want to hang on there. So I'm just going to eyeball that as well and see what we want hanging on that, and I'm going to go just a little bit more than that, just so I have room to get my fingers in there and pull through the tails. Okay, we're going to go right here. We're just going to cut it off. What did I do with my scissors? I thought my scissors were right here. Oh, there they are. Okay, we're just going to trim that off. Okay, and we're going to move that aside. Now you could just take your ribbon and just stick one end through and tie it, because a lot of people like to do that too, but I like to do the loop method. So we're just going to loop it again, and we're going to make this small enough to get in through the grommet. Just like that. We're going to pull it through. You're going to get your loop here, and you're going to grab your tails and just pull it through. So there is your end, and I like the length of it. I think that's a good length. Like I said, you can moisten these, you know, if you got a spritzer or whatever, and they will lay flat again. But yeah, that is a simple bookmark, you guys. That's all there is to it. Now you can decide if you want to, you know, add any decorations to it. I think I'm going to just leave mine like this because I love it just as it is. But like I said, for this one, I added the glitter to it. Like I said, I don't know if you can see it. And we added a charm down here at the bottom. But just remember, you know, these are going in books if you're going to use it for a bookmark. And you got to remember it's going to be inside. And it might cause damage to your book pages or what have you. But I really like the glitter on there. I love the eyelash trim. So, I mean, those are just, you know, a few ideas. You can put stickers on there if you want to put stickers on there. You can put, you know, the stickles if you'd like the stickles. Those won't be too much on them. But yeah, I like mine just the way it is right here. And it's nice and thin, but still sturdy. You can also cover these You can put a glaze on there, or you can also actually take box tape. I've seen people put box tape over them and make a bookmark that way with the box tape. But I'm just going to leave mine as it is. It's going to be a bookmark. It's going to sit in my book and be protected in there. But yeah, that is the simple way to make your own bookmarks. So you're not having to go out and spend all the money that they're charging now for bookmarks. Let me know what you think of these bookmarks and this idea down in the comments below. Or if you have any questions, then I will answer whatever I can answer. If you guys liked this tutorial, then give me a thumbs up. That would be fantastic. But that is all I have for you guys today. Thanks for staying tuned, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.